Hey everybody, it's Chris from Life 180, and I am in my studio with Nick Obie. Nick flew all the way here from New Hampshire, and he got here yesterday. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're glad to be out of the nasty New England weather.
A little contrast, 40 and rainy to 100 and sunny, but I'll take it.
Perfect, exactly. So guys, I'm having Nick on the channel because for two reasons. A, Nick is a client of mine. I'm helping Nick with a build out of a new business in the kind of property casualty luxury insurance market, and we'll get into that in a second. But ultimately, everybody knows that I do a lot of video content on helping people grow their wealth, build businesses, invest in real estate, whole life insurance, the whole deal, the and asset strategy that we talk about. And since Nick has been here, and since I've been working with him, and we're working on building his sales system and his whole launch this week, it's been really fun. And I just was like, wow, you know what? We need to get on the channel and talk about the concept of not just growing your wealth, but protecting your wealth. And Nick talks a lot about this stuff, and as we've been going through and trying to figure out the copy and figuring out like the branding and the positioning in the marketplace of everything, of the concept that like everybody talks about the importance of growing their wealth, but very few people talk about like when you hit that place where you have wealth, when you hit that place where you're like, okay, I made it, right?
Right.
And I'm good, and yes, I still want more, maybe. Or maybe you're just at a place and you're like, okay, I'm good, and I just want to protect what I have.
Right.
Very few people think about like, what does that actually look like? What do I have to do to protect it? And the thing that hit me today, and then I'm going to let you kind of take over and talk a little bit,
Sure.
is when people hit that moment in time, it's what got us here. And I say this all the time: what gets you where you are right now isn't going to get you where you want to go. And most people, even though they hit that pinnacle where they have more income and they're feeling better about their life and they feel like they've kind of arrived, they don't do things differently. They don't manage their risk differently. They don't realize that, once you hit that level, you're kind of a target, right? Like
100%.
you're more susceptible. You've built up this lifestyle, and really that lifestyle is at risk. Your quality of life is at risk with every engagement. And actually, let's start with this.
Yeah.
I had a guy, I haven't told anybody this story. So a couple weeks ago, no, like 10 days ago, we're home, and my daughter was outside cleaning the bird cage, right? So there's a classic example. Everybody that thinks they don't have any issues, right?
Yep.
With risk management, whatever. Just one example would be this guy was, and we live on a golf course, just so everybody knows, right near a tee box and right near a green. So it's like the third green and the fourth tee box. It's awesome.
I've got an idea where this is going.
Yeah. And so my daughter's cleaning the bird cage out in the backyard, and literally a guy drives the ball and just hits it dead right off the tee. Total shank, but really hard. Hits her right in the rib cage, right? We bring her to the ER, we rush her to the ER, she gets x-rays, it ends up just being a contusion, and she's okay. I mean, a good bruise and pretty nasty. But at the end of the day, had that ball been 1.5 feet higher and
Right.
hit her in the back of the head, that guy's life could be a lot different. And so, and
Her
I don't...
life, not to mention her life.
Her life could be a lot different, right? But like from the perspective, I think based on my conversation with this guy, because he was a really good dude, he felt horrible, and all that, like we got it worked out. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're talking, like, talk to me about the liability for that, because a lot of people, like, imagine that guy was worth $10 million,
Right?
And then he did something like that. Talk to me about like how that works, like just to kind of get this going, because like this is the kind of stuff that I know is important, and I think most people are like, oh crap, like
Right.
I'd want to think about that, but they don't think about that.
Well, as I say, the reality of it is most people, they don't think about that. They think they have their hobbies, they have, their assets that they protect, and a lot of times the two don't correlate.
Yeah.
So I go golfing, but how does that impact my house? How does that impact my cars? How does
Yeah.
that impact the wealth I've built, the businesses I've had? And it's hard to draw that correlation to it. But where it does impact it is that example. If your daughter was more seriously injured, she had
Right.
medical bills, she had, who knows, ongoing injuries, whatever.
I mean, a head injury,
Right. Who knows
it
the
could be
results of
anything.
it.
My wife,
Right.
we got in a car accident in 2014, and my
Yep.
wife's still dealing with post-concussive issues.
Yes, some of the stuff doesn't go away. And that's where you get into an issue of
Totally.
your lifestyle's at risk, right? Because it's not just about his assets, his wealth. It's what he likes to do. Clearly, he likes to play golf.
Yeah.
Maybe he could use a lesson or two, but, but he likes playing. So all those things are impacted because of an accident and something that's so simple. He didn't mean to hit your daughter.
Right. Yeah. Oh, totally.
It's just a complete accident. And yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think people are more exposed than they think. The hobbies that they do, everything that about their lifestyle, there's a risk associated with doing it that puts the things that got you to be able to do that lifestyle, be able to go out and play golf on the weekends, puts all that at risk.
And people don't think about the fact, like we've been talking a lot about the fact that, okay, the more money we make, the more assets we have, the more toys we have, the more liability we have, right? Because you go get a boat, you get an RV, you get a trailer, you get, ATVs and you start tubing and water skiing and, and having yacht parties and doing stuff like that. Like there's a lot of risk that comes with all that.
Correct.
Right? And like a lot of people think about just insuring the toy, the boat, like whatever it is, but they don't think about insuring just your life around it, like getting coverage to make sure that, let's face it, you get these to have fun with your friends, right?
Correct.
And they're always your friends until something goes wrong, right? Like, and then you become a target. And so like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so you become a target, and if part of the reason people buy this stuff is, to your point, have fun and be with your friends. If all your buddies have boats and you don't have a boat anymore because something happened, you're probably not hanging with your buddies as much. And it sounds kind of silly, but oftentimes people think about, I have this boat, I have to insure it. Maybe I have a loan on it, so the bank's requiring the insurance on it.
Yep.
And that's important.
Yeah.
But it's ensuring the lifestyle that goes with it. You don't buy a boat just to have a boat, put it in your garage, and pay the payments and pay the insurance on it. You buy it for the lifestyle that's associated with it, and that's really awesome. I think what's at risk with all this stuff, and people often don't understand. It's not. They don't understand. It sounds negative, but
no,
it's just not it's not talked about. It's everyone's from the insurance perspective and all that. It's about insuring your assets and protecting your wealth. It's not about protecting the lifestyle and why you do the things that you do. And that's, I think, the common misconception around it all.
So at what stage do people kind of hit that pivot point where they have to go from dealing with insurance like a normal person would, like an average middle class American would have to deal with insurance, to thinking about, okay, I need to start protecting everything under one umbrella, so to speak?
So there's a couple different, different ways to look at it. Some of it is the amount of toys, right? If you have a lot of stuff, if you're doing a lot of things, there's a lot of risk associated with that. If you don't do anything ever, there's less risk. The types of cars that you drive, if you're obviously driving faster cars, if you're driving just higher end luxury cars, there's more risk associated with that. If you get in a car accident, people see that car, you automatically become a target.
Sure.
Oh, great. I got hit
by
a Bentley. Yeah, I'm gonna take out my neck brace. It's like it's just a different environment. You're in a different world. People target that lifestyle.
It's a super litigious world.
Oh, it's crazy.
Right? It's completely insane.
I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's maybe going getting worse.
Sure.
So there's that kind of component of it from a insurance carrier perspective. They look at it as, once you have a house that's $1 million in replacement cost or a condo that's $500,000, you've now entered into this new world where you have access to a whole new set of insurance companies. That's kind of the way in.
Yep.
And then obviously the other component is net worth. If you have a higher net worth, you have more that you want to protect.
Totally.
A lot of times though, the three of those things kind of go together. As you're growing your net worth, you're probably getting a nicer house, you're getting more toys. So typically it's kind of the combination of the three that kind of bring it all together.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talk to me, like, just changing gears a little bit on you. So talk to me, like, and I know this a little bit, but put you on the spot. Like what made you?
Great.
You've been working with a company, a brokerage,
Yep.
commercial and property casualty
Yep.
brokerage in New Hampshire.
Yep.
For how many years?
So yeah, Avery Insurance. We're out of Portsmouth, Wolfboro,
Yeah.
and I've been there about, I don't know, probably 9 years.
Okay, so when you reached out to me, you had the desire to really enter the luxury market and you saw a market that was unserved, right? Or underserved, or that kind of didn't,
Which, think about that, it's like...
It's kind of crazy, right?
Oh, the luxury market's underserved. You know, feel bad for them.
I know.
Like, it sounds kind of crazy to say, but from a true insurance perspective, they are. And we've, at Avery, we've built out this luxury insurance, I guess, division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, probably 5-10 years.
Okay.
And so we've done a great job working with this group of people. And when I reached out to you, like anybody, right, COVID hit, you're kind of figuring the stuff out. And for us, what we found is it really opened up, who we could serve and where we could serve. We've had clients all over the country, but in the past, a lot of that was just, it was, local referrals, or we had a client that bought a second home out in Phoenix or Florida. Or, we did somebody's insurance, and then their friend lives in California, so we did got connected that way. But with COVID and everybody being on Zoom, it's all of a sudden the world was much more open to working with people anywhere in the country. And I think that's when I reached out to you to say, how do we take this and bring it to more people, because it is truly an underserved a market. They say, depending what stats you read, but it's about anywhere from 60 to 80% of this kind of luxury insurance market, high net worth, whatever, successful individual, however you want to call it. There's like a bunch of different names about that it goes by. 60 to 80% are still insured with direct writers, which is your State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, basically anybody that you see advertising on TV that's really designed to serve, the middle, I guess middle class type homes and individuals. 60 to 80% are still with insurance companies that are designed for that market. So it's almost like they outgrow it, and they don't know they outgrew it.
So what's the problem with that, though? Because if somebody's out there and they think, well, insurance is insurance, State Farm is a huge company, so they must have the backing, the financial stability, the coffers to be able to handle a wealthy person like me. So why would they not be appropriate? Yeah,
so they can, right? They from an insurance perspective, they can insure you. They provide a product for a premium. What we find, though, is oftentimes once you kind of outgrow them, there's a more, I guess, a couple things. There's a concierge type level of service associated with that next level of insurance company.
Okay.
And it goes back to the lifestyle piece, right? If you have a house and you're living in a specific neighborhood, whether it's a golf community, lake community, whatever it may be, you're living in that community for a reason. These luxury insurance carriers, if something happens to that house, they're going to make sure that you have a house in that community. Other, kind of standard insurance companies may not. You may have a hotel down the road, and your house is being rebuilt for 6 months.
Gotcha.
So it's these kind of, the luxury insurance market is designed to, yes, replace the asset that you lost or the thing that you lost, your house, your car, your boat, but also provide you, the individual, with the same lifestyle that you had before. Okay. And if you think about insurance, property and casualty insurance is designed to make you whole. Okay, so I was in a car crash. I need a new car. Well, making you whole once you reach a certain level of lifestyle, it's not just about the things. It's making you whole with your entire lifestyle. Yeah. And that's where this kind of luxury insurance marketplace comes into play. It's helping you not only replace the thing that you lost, but continue to live the life that you were living, that you worked so hard to build for yourself.
Like unhindered lifestyle.
Correct.
To go along with it, or as little hindrance as possible.
Exactly.
Okay. That's awesome.
I think hopefully that answers your question.
No. I think it does. So, at the end of the day, I think that's really important is just to kind of understand, like, if you are somebody who is kind of in the higher net worth area, what would you say, like $1 million or more in net worth, and working towards, somebody who's working and maybe 35, that's got $1 million saved, entrepreneur, business owner, has assets, has some income and is looking to, trajectory and has a goal of 5 million plus and wants to make sure that, should something happen to you along the way, you're protected. I mean, one of the stats that you gave me is like, for somebody, in their 30s, for $5 million umbrella policy to kind of protect it all, it's like $1,200 a year. Something of that nature.
Yeah, depending.
I mean, like depending on variables.
Yeah, depending on how many toys and all that, it could be $1,200, $2,500. I mean, when you think about transferring risk to an insurance company, people always say, insurance is expensive, and every ad you see on TV is how can you do it for less? How can you do it for less?
Yeah.
No matter what the cost is, it's still relatively inexpensive to transfer that risk off of you and onto an insurance company, and that's ultimately what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty inexpensive to do it.
That's awesome.
And ultimately, it's better to transfer that risk, especially if you have a long runway. If you're trying to either build a career or you're on the backside, you've retired or you're thinking about retirement, you don't want to carry that risk.
Yeah, I wholly agree. So that's awesome. So I tell you what, guys, if you are somebody who would like to talk to Nick, I know I'm bringing him on here, kind of randomly. This isn't something I normally do, but
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think this
proof
is
that I actually flew out.
Yeah. I think it's important information to share with everybody. I think everybody needs to know about it. We are going to be launching, just give him a little shameless plug. His company is going to be called Mine Lifestyle Risk Management, MINE Lifestyle Risk Management, and it's all about what we're talking about here, so be on the lookout for it. As soon as it happens and launches, I'll put a link below for it. In the meantime, if you do want to talk to him, like if you hit that demographic of people he serves, you can work with anybody anywhere in the country, right?
Yeah.
For the most part?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so like if you kind of hit that demographic, he's got access to carriers that can help you, that can serve you. If you have State Farm, Allstate, any of those direct carriers, my guess is you're probably either paying too much or you're not getting the right coverage. It's not really fitting kind of what you need. And I can tell you, I emphatically believe that after spending a day and a half talking to him about this. Like, he's been at my house and we've been kind of going through this stuff, and it's kind of blowing my mind, honestly. I'm learning a lot about the industry. So it's fantastic.
And I think you kind of hit a spot on. It's exactly, if that's what you're working towards, you don't belong with those insurance companies.
Right.
They're great insurance companies, but they're not a fit for what people are trying to do.
Yep.
And that's everything we're trying to accomplish. That's the goal of mine, is really to bring the education side, the lifestyle risk management piece, totally. And then we can do the insurance on the Avery insurance side.
I love it.
So trying to combine the two and just get more information out there on the topic.
That's amazing.
There's not enough.
So that's all, guys. If you want to just click below, you can set up an appointment with me. I'll give you a couple minutes of my time just to kind of gather some information. I don't want to blast his information all over the internet like mine is. So
I appreciate that.
Not yet, at least. We'll get his whole system built first. But in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me. I will connect you with this guy. And you can tell he's pretty low key. There's no hard sales pitches. I know he's got a heart of service. He'll just try to help you in any way that he can, and if it makes sense, you guys will make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. So hope that helps, guys. Go out there, have a blessed, inspirational day, and we will see you on the next video. Take care.